first, to that breaking news tonight. What you're looking at there is the House of Lords. The Rwanda bill shambles continues after the government suffered 2 more defeats in the House of Lords this evening. Peers voted in favour of 2 amendments, meaning that the bill will be sent back to the Commons for the 5th time on Monday, putting pay to the government's expectations that the bill would become law by the end of the week. Well, the Home Secretary James Cleverly has kicked back. He says, terrified that the Rwanda scheme will work and desperate to delay or disrupt over 100 votes about stopping the boats, Labour have acted again to block the passage of the Rwanda bill. It's been another politically cynical effort by them, who have no alternative deterrent and no plan to tackle illegal immigration to frustrate the only solution on offer. Oh, welcome now, Conservative MP Greg Smith. Greg, thank you very, very much. I mean, is this all Labour's fault, really?
Well, we'd have a bill, we'd have an act, we'd have it through, we'd be off to the King for royal assent if Labour hadn't whipped their members in the House of Lords tonight to frustrate this yet again. And I can tell you, Patrick, that on the doorsteps in my constituency, on the doorsteps of nearby colleagues who I'm helping and supporting in this campaign, people want the boats stopped. And it's the Labour Party in the House of Lords that have frustrated this now in excess of 100 times. We can't trust Labour on this. This is the party that constantly signs the letters saying, you know, don't deport the foreign national offenders. This is the party that goes through the voting lobbies in the Commons and the Lords to stop all the legislation we've passed to try and resolve this issue.
Labour will say that the public know that this is a cornerstone of Conservative Party policy, yet all the opinion polls show that Labour are probably going to win the next general election. So therefore, they might be on the side of the people by rejecting this.
I can tell you from the doorsteps. I can tell you when I did my summer surgery tour last summer, the number of people who came up to see me, the absolute tip of their tongue. You've got to stop the boats. This is the thing we're looking at you to do. Now, we've got the plan. OK, it's taken a while. I put my hands up and accept that. But we've got a fresh bit of legislation that hopefully will resolve the problems we've had with the courts, the problems we've had with all the activists trying to frustrate this policy. The real frustrators are the Labour Party. They're the lefties in the House of Lords, they're the lefties in the House of Commons who troop through those voting lobbies to stop this from happening.
I mean, there has been, I will just slightly push back and say there's been a bit of kickback from within your own party as well, but this is arguably one of the reasons why things like the Rwanda bill, many people think are so important, OK? I've got a couple of stories here for you. So an Iraqi sex offender remains in Britain despite offering to pay for his own flight home, with the Home Office failing to authorise his deportation.
I draw the Minister's attention to the case of a man in Newport who lied about his name and country of origin, is a convicted sex offender who's breached the terms of his licence, and the courts want him returned home. He wants to return home and will even pay for his flight, but for some unfathomable reason, the Home Office seem incapable of allowing or authorising or allowing this, and it's been 3 years. Why?
The issue is because he's on the sex offenders register and needs permission from British authorities. But look, let's just go through it again, OK? Did he lie about his age? Yes. Did he lie about his nationality? Yes. Did he lie about his name? Yes. Has he been convicted of sex and drug offences? Yes. Has he been deported? No. No, there we go. Look, Greg, what's going on here at the Home Office?
I'm not going to attempt to defend the indefensible in that. There is no reason whatsoever that guy should still be in the United Kingdom. And it's got to be something the Home Office have got to get a grip on. It's got to be something. He's just got to be out of there. Look, he's even offered to pay for his own flight. Well, good, let's take his money. Let's get him out of the United Kingdom. There is no grounds for foreign national offenders, for people who have committed the most heinous crimes and lied about getting here in the first place to remain in our country. And I can only repeat, I'm not going to defend the indefensible on this. It's something the Home Office have got to get better at.
I mean, people will be screaming at the TV screens, I've got 14 years, Greg, 14 years, and here we are. And I just don't think that's necessarily good enough, really. We've got the Home Office here saying, now the farce in the English Channel continues with fresh evidence emerging. Oh, no, sorry, I've got a Home Office statement for you here, actually. A long-standing government policy that we do not comment on individual cases. There we go, that was worthwhile. Now, the farce in the English Channel continues, with fresh evidence emerging of the French Navy escorting migrant boats across the water to the UK. And when they got in the way of one English cargo ship outside Dunkirk, the captain decided enough was enough.
I would like to report what is an illegal operation in the French waters. This morning we witnessed a vessel and a French warship escort a boatload of illegal immigrants across the channel to the midway point, where they handed them over to another ship out of Dover, which has now arrived in Dover. This is not search and rescue. This is the illegal trafficking of human personnel. I have now reported this to the UK authorities.
I mean, the French acting as a taxi service for illegal migrants here.
Look, we've given them an absolute ton of money to try and help us. They claim that they want the illegal crossings to be stopped as well. It's damaging their economy, their coastline. Yet a warship in the English Channel, in French waters, escorting an illegal crossing into British waters. I think we've got to have a serious word with the French authorities here, with the French government, because they can't take our money in good faith in the interests of stopping these illegal crossings, stopping the people smugglers, stopping the abuse of human beings in the English Channel, and then finding them in their own waters and actively bringing them into British waters. That is wholly unacceptable. That is not something that anybody expects from a friend, from an ally, from another country who is supposedly helping us in this endeavour. If you find an illegal crossing, if you find a craft in your own waters, the duty falls on the French government to bring that craft back to the French coast and to process those people appropriately through the asylum system, through whatever it might be. It is certainly not acceptable for a foreign government to escort an illegal crossing into somebody else's waters.
I think some people are saying, well, why did we pick them up then? Are we just a bit too nice?
Nobody wants to see people die in the Channel, right? I don't want to see people die in the Channel. I don't want to see human beings suffering. And so once they find themselves into our waters, we're in a very difficult position. I think it is the human thing to do to ensure that they're not in peril on the sea. However, we've been very clear as a parliament, we've been very clear as a Conservative government that illegal entry into this country is unacceptable. And that's why we're trying to get the Rwanda bill through. That's why there's a whole series of measures being taken to stop these crossings and ensure that people can't stay here if they enter illegally. The French really haven't helped in this case.
Greg, look, thank you very, very much. That's Conservative MP there, Greg Smith. Look, in response, the Coast Guard informed the individual in that video there was an arrangement between the British and French governments for the French Navy to escort migrant boats towards the UK, which, is not particularly great, I think, is it? There is also a response here from the government, which says, we work with France in the English Channel to ensure people are recovered as safely as possible. Our successful work together helped to cut arrivals by more than a third last year. OK, all right, well, look, earlier today, Labour Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said on the Rwanda bill, Tory MPs just voted to insist that Afghan interpreters who've served British armed forces can be sent to Rwanda, a scheme which costs £2 million per asylum seeker, a £500 million scheme for less than 1% of asylum seekers, which now includes those who work with our troops. She says shameful and shambolic, she says, but obviously we do await a little bit more detail on what smash the gangs means from Labour, which, as it currently stands, means precious little. But anyway, coming up.